Well, welcome everyone to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus here in Arlington, Texas. This is the Profit Break. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, we're glad you're here. Give us 15 minutes and you're going to be well on your way to improving yourself and your profitability. Now, we all know the largest controllable expense you have as an operator is payroll. Not only is it your biggest expense, but it's also the most challenging area of our business to manage today. Now, we've all experienced the staffing challenges in our post-COVID environment, but how do you know what's hype and what's actually the market rate for team members today? Now, in today's show, I'm going to share with you some brand new data from the 2023 Compensation and Benefits Study. So let's take a peek. Now, first, I'd like to remind everybody that this is a brand new study. We get a lot of questions and calls here at the university or at our management schools as we visit with all of you around the country. What's the market rate for team members? What should I be paying a manager? What should I be paying a mechanic? So it really led us to be able to conduct this study to try to get you some more quantifiable information. So it's only made possible with your participation. So thank you to all of those centers that participated. As a special thank you, if you participated in the program, you were mailed a copy of the study. So you should already have that with some great data and some great insights. So thank you for doing that. I know that it takes time and some are a little reluctant at times to share information, but we had a professional research firm that kept everything in the strictest confidence, and the report is out, and I'm excited to share a few of the data points with you. So here's what we actually measured in the study there, and it goes far beyond just your standard salary, because when you think about payroll, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is how much should I pay somebody? But it goes so much deeper than that with benefits and employment practices and staffing plans and training and culture and onboarding and things of that nature. So we tried to make the study much more comprehensive than just what should I be paying somebody. But that's in there to give you kind of a guideline of that information and more there. So I want to share with you a couple of data points. It's a large study. It's 100 and some pages. I want to give you a few nuggets just to give a little bit of information that's in there. And you can dissect this information a lot of ways, and I'll share with you a couple examples. You can do it by center type and lane size and many different things here. But what I'm showing you here is, often we get asked the question, what type of benefits should I be offering? What's common in our industry? So you can see here's a chart that shows what percentages of centers in America today offer training and education. How about paid holidays? Should I be offering dental? If I do offer vision, how do I compare with the rest of the industry? So not that you should or shouldn't, but if you're going to ask the question, how does it compare to others in the industry that I'm a part of? Now you can measure yourself by the benefits offered there. This chart's a little busy, but what I wanted to show you on this one is it really takes things like, paid vacation. So if you happen to offer paid vacation, this top line here, 86%, is for salaried. The yellow line here, gold line here, is for your full-time hourly. That's 87. And as you can see on the green line, it drops way down to 17% for part-time folks. So it gives you a little deeper dive, because when you ask the question, do you offer vacation? Well, you may say yes, but to who? Full-time, salary only, management, part-time. So it allows you to take a deeper dive, things like medical insurance, the dental insurance, vision. So not only do you know what percentage of centers offer that in America, it can help you gauge yourself in consideration for programs you may want to offer for what type of, team member, whether that's salaried, full-time hourly, or part-time hourly. So I love the dive that it takes in there. So another question we asked, just to give you a sample of some of the information that's in there, is does your center offer bonuses or incentives? And currently, today, 66% of businesses with bowling offer some type of bonus structure or incentive structure, and 34% said no, they don't. So you know where your center compares. And maybe if you're struggling with staffing and you're not offering an incentive program, that might be an opportunity for you. But then it also takes a deeper dive and says, while we offer the program, who do you offer it to? You can see that 80% goes to salaried, which intuitively kind of makes sense. Your full-time hourly employees are at a little lesser rate. But I found this data kind of interesting, that even part-time folks are being more incentivized than ever, with 62% of centers in America choosing to offer some type of incentive or bonuses to their part-time hourly folks, which I think really speaks to the current employment market that we are a part of today. So there are just some great nuggets in there. So a few years ago, you may have never thought about offering part-time employees any type of variable compensation for performance or incentives or bonuses. But I can tell you the market today, and the data substantiates it, that 62% are doing something. That's the kind of incredible nuggets that I think that are available for you. So even if you don't have the study, just know that from today's episode. Now, this is a busy slide, but it's a critical one for me. It's a money slide, and I would bring your attention to the average turnover rate here, and we'll talk about that just for a second. You can see that currently salaried employees are experiencing a 20% turnover today in America for bowling centers. That hourly rate is at 67%. This data down here is just how we got there, right? So this is the number of employees that the average center had at the start of the year, 25.6 hourly. This is the amount that they had in departures, so they can calculate the turnover percentage there. So 67%. Now, we know that many of us have high turnover, but we haven't been able to really quantify it and then benchmark it against other like businesses. So my question to all of you today is, first of all, are you measuring employee turnover at your center? If you're not, then you need to start. That's takeaway number one. Then once you start measuring that for your location, you can compare yourself to the industry, again, geographic region, size of location, whatever that may be, to see how you compare that 67%. Now, then we can compare ourselves as an industry to other like industries. When you compare to what's called, QSR, quick service dining, your fast food restaurants, they are often in excess of 100%, 150%. So you can see as an industry, we fare a little better. Some of your finer dining or other retail establishments might be a little lower. So 67% is a nice benchmark for us to get started to see where we stand. But that means nothing if you are not measuring the turnover at your business. So you've got to start with that. Measure your turnover, and then you can compare it with the industry, and you can even take a deeper dive into some of the segments that the study offers there. Now, this data brings a tear to my eye, and not in a good way. This talks about time dedicated to a team member training. So the question of turnover and the question of staffing goes far beyond just the wage that you pay. Study after study shows that there's a lot in the onboarding and the training you provide a new team member. So this first set of data talks about time dedicated for a new hire. When I bring somebody new on the team, how much time am I spending on them? And only 22% of the industry is spending more than 20 hours. And look, if you just do some quick back of the napkin math, if you have an 8-hour shift, that's less than 3 days of training for a new team member for the complexity of many of the jobs that you offer there. And so that means that 80% are getting less than those 3 days, and candidly, almost 25% are getting less than 4 hours. That's less than half a shift. So, you can benchmark where you are better, or maybe not quite as much, and it can help you answer some of the questions, why am I struggling with turnover? Then the second data point that it measures there is, how am I working with my current team members, not forgetting about them? What am I doing with that current staff? And then, again, 56% are just doing, 1 to 3 hours. And then 20%, which I find very concerning, are doing nothing, no additional training there. So if you're wondering why you're struggling with turnover, this can help you kind of unpack it. Again, it goes much deeper than just the pay. We often look at pay and say that I can't match the person down the road, or I can't pay anymore, but it goes so much deeper than the pay, and this helps us kind of really peel away that proverbial layers of the onion to see where you stand and also where you kind of compare to the industry at large there. Another data point that I want to share with you that I find very, very interesting, we asked the question about annual performance appraisal. Do you have a formal procedure in place annually to recognize your staff and give them feedback on how they're doing that is associated with the merit increase? and 56%, over half, said no. And that, to me, is another stat that is a little bit alarming. I get that we're small business folks, but having an annual performance appraisal in place, whether you are 1 to 5 employees or you have 105 employees, I think is critical. Now, I wanted to share a couple of other data points on here. You can see this next category with the numbers, that's number of lanes. So we're measuring the number of lanes. So it kind of makes sense if you think about small centers that have 1 to 5 employees, might be an 8, 10 lane center. 60% of them are not doing any type of performance appraisal, or almost 70% of them are not doing any type of performance appraisal. Makes sense in the case that, well, maybe it's a lot of family, but I still think you should have something in place. And then as the centers get larger, when you get to 21 plus, and I'm sorry, I misspoke. That is number of employees. I said lanes. The lanes is underneath. My apologies. This is actually the number of employees, which correlates pretty close to the number of lanes. But you can segment the data by number of employees, not lanes, and then lanes is down here a little farther there. So again, you can segment that data, a lot of different cuts on whatever you think is the most relevant for you, with the intent of seeing how do I compare and what are some opportunities for me to help in this area here. Now, this is a very busy slide, but this is the money slide, and this is what everybody wants to know, right? And that is, what should I be paying, or what can I be paying one of the team members? So to the left there is all the different type of jobs that we categorized in this study that you helped us with. And then over here in the far right is the average hourly wage paid. So even if you paid salary for research purposes, we converted that into a hourly amount just to equate it there. So $29.64, which again, on a salary basis is about, $61,000. So the average general manager in America today makes $61,000 in salary a year, or almost $30 an hour. You can see from mechanics, beam mechanics, all the various different types of positions there. Now, there are a lot of pages like this that give you the detail where you can segment the data, which really I think is much more valuable than the overall information. So in the category of general manager, you can see here our overall total, again, remember, was $29.64 an hour, or about $61,000 a year. You can break it down by center size, staff size, region, community. There's lots of cuts of the data. Again, it makes perfect sense that a GM at a smaller size center is going to be making less than a GM at a larger center in there. You can see the GM at 37 lanes plus is going to be about $33, or about $66,000 a year. Again, these are guidelines, they're averages, you can cut the data. I think there's a lot of incredible data points in there for you in the study. And even if you don't have the study or get the study, I hope that you got some great points today that you can go back with and start to answer the question of, how am I going to take great care of my team and provide a great environment for them there. So there you have it, folks. If you'd like more information about the study or to get a copy, you can reach out to me directly at bart@bpa.com. Now, if you're ready to start improving your profitability, you can reach us anytime at education@bpa.com. So as we wrap up another edition of the Profit Break, remember, when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business. This episode, as well as all our previous episodes, available 24/7 for you and your team at bowlinuniversity.net. Now, we have new episodes every month. Mark your calendar, watch your email, join us on Facebook. You can hear about all the latest episodes. Until then, I'm Bart Berger, and remember, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next time.